Hi, you're watching itBoat channel. This is Nikita Gorchakov. I'm the founder, and today we are at Cannes at Port Pierre Cantor reviewing one of the unique boats here at the Cannes Boat Show. One of my personal favorites, actually, the All-Aluminium sailing catamaran Vaan R5. And for that review, we are accompanied by Igor Kluin, founder of Vaan. He will do a tour for my colleague, one of our senior experts at itBoat, Rocco.
So, this is the Vaan R5, 49 feet, all-aluminium sailing catamaran, built in Holland by Vaan Yachts, a small shipyard founded in 2018 by Igor Kluin and Nienke van Klooster. They work semi-custom, bespoke, 2, maybe 3 boats a year, each one different. The range goes from the R4 up to the R8. And they sit in a tradition of Dutch yacht building that's been around for centuries. Slow, proper, engineering first.
Aluminium translates into luxury.
70% of the hull is recycled aluminium. The deck is FSC certified cork. The ceiling is recycled PET felt. Yes, plastic bottles. The whole boat runs on electric pods powered by 60 kilowatt-hours of lithium-iron batteries and 1800 watts of solar on the coach roof. There's a diesel range extender as a backup, but the philosophy is clear. You don't trade comfort for sustainability, you build with materials that give you both. 82 square meters of mainsail, 45 for the self-tacking jib, 2 helm stations, 3 layout options. Pricing starts at 1.9 million euros, and from there, every choice is the owner's. Igor and Rocco are about to walk us through it.
Hi Igor, thank you for having us aboard.
Welcome aboard.
I mean, the first look to the boat already tells us it's something very special that you don't commonly find in the market, and it delivers the idea of a unique concept, which is quite rare to find. We're now at the helm station of the R5 Vaan. It is quite complete at the first look. I see everything is button controlled, as you were showing us. Of course, the electric winches, but also the other systems, thrusters and so on. It's very organically integrated with the rest of the design. It doesn't take too much space, right? And it still grants a very good view, both the bow and of course the aft, which is right here of the boat.
Right.
What else is there to know about it?
I think the helm station demonstrates our philosophy of how we designed the boat really well, because here I can control all the sail systems. I have motor controls. Both helm stations, port and starboard, are exact copies, so it doesn't matter which side you are on. I have a 360 view through the glass of the cockpit. I can see my sails, but importantly, I can also see my family. So this is a great position for a sailor to be. All monohulls have the helm here, and for good reasons. So I can see everything, but I'm also connected to even my kids playing inside or friends sitting here and enjoying themselves. So the combination of this social space and at the same time having a great sailing sensation is really reflected here.
It's fantastic that being at helm doesn't break the social interaction with guests and friends and family.
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So signature elements on the whole van range.
Right.
This metal structure back here.
Yes.
Of course, it would make any sailor with a focus on operating the boat curious about it. What's the idea behind it?
So the idea is that we have a very simple basic sail plan. So it's a square top mainsail and a self-tacking jib. All the lines from those 2 sails all run back here, and that means that during, if you want to be relaxed and comfortable, you can control the whole boat from back here. These are 2 electric winches, so hoisting the mainsail, reefing the mainsail, extending the jib and rolling it back in. These winches are electric, and you can control them here from the dashboard. So the whole system, the lines run under the floor back here to what we call the V grinder, and you can control everything from here, protected under this roof.
So Vaan catamarans, they sit on the top shelf in the market segments of cruising catamarans, right? This comes with a high availability on your side for customization based on client's request.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, we call it personalization.
Yeah.
Because I think this becomes your home for quite a long time,
Yeah.
and I think it should feel as your home. So you get a lot of options in terms of kitchen layout, you know, where you want what. Of course, materials, fabrics, but even the layout of this seating area can be different. As long as it doesn't affect the aluminium hull, we can do any kind of layout that you want. So here we opted for very open space. I think many catamarans are designed for charter, so they try to, you know, put everything in there and then do it again. We feel open space is luxury, right? Space
Absolutely
means.
is.
And from there you can have, you know, extra seats here, director's chairs, and choose all your own materials. Over here you see some of the examples of the fabrics that we have, but the range of course is much larger than that. And the way we go about it is that once you order a boat, it's not like you come to the factory and within 1 hour you got to make all those choices that you're going to spend 10 years on your boat with, right? So what we do is we have a material suitcase.
We'll take a look at that later.
And we'll send it to your house, and you can spend a month working with all the samples, trying to find your place, right?
Yeah.
Define your place.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, as for me, actually, I enjoyed most. I like the Salon, the 360 degrees view, the huge glass area. You rarely see on a GRP catamaran. Never see on a GRP catamaran.
see that
Yeah.
GRP catamaran.
And you feel yourself at home in a penthouse, sort of, you know.
Yeah, in this case, he just wanted a large table to have, you know, have dinner with the 2 director's chairs, which are now not here.
No.
And he specifically also wanted this open space here. Have a little desk here. There's no nav station in any of our boats because most of it is now on laptops or on iPads. But he wanted to sit here and do a night shift. So if you're night sailing, you have your iPad here or a second Zeus from B&G, and you just sit here or lie down and you have your autopilot remote. You have a 360 degree view because as you notice, when I sit down, my eyes are above. I can see the horizon 360. And so that was for this customer request. If you want another bench here, you create a bigger seating area, a larger table, all of that is of course possible.
So once again, we're aboard the Vaan R5. This is the port hull, which is configured to be the owner's hull.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about the details.
Right. So in fact, this is the 3-cabin version. The R5 also comes in a 4-cabin version. In this case, the port side becomes a complete owner's hull. So when you close that sliding door, this really becomes your hotel suite. With in the aft, you have a very spacious, large 2-person bed, a double bed. In here, in the midsection, we call this the walk-in closet. And in front, you have a very spacious bathroom. I think that this closet really is massive. If you look at the depth of these drawers, all of these closets are really almost 60 centimeters deep.
Yeah.
And I think anybody who's been on board a boat will say and agree that there will never be enough storage, but I think this is getting close.
Yeah. I mean, I guess everyone's been dreaming of that type of drawer.
Right.
Yeah, especially on the 49 feet.
This is only 49 feet, yes.
So,
yes.
you know, it's very smart.
We have an additional dresser here, which is, you know, for your accessories, for whatever jewelry, watches, or whatever you prefer.
Looks very good, by the way. Usually in catamarans, you can notice that inside the cabins, because of the shape and the profile of the hulls, the beds tend to be up in the air.
Right.
So you really need to climb on a tall bed, which doesn't leave you enough headroom to feel like you're in a comfortable, roomy space.
Right.
So what's the secret behind this this cabin?
Well, here's one of the benefits of electric propulsion is I think the small size of the motor and the whole technical area. I mean, the motor is really under the bed. It is super silent. There are no oils, no fumes, no nothing. So we can always talk about electric propulsion in the sense that it's sustainable, but I think even if you forget all that, it is so much more comfortable. The silence of it and the fact that of course you have a range extender, so you can go electric or hybrid electric for 4 to 5 days, 24 hours. So there's no problem at all with electric propulsion, but the benefits of having pure electric is fantastic.
It's not just the reduced fuel consumption or zero fuel consumption, but it comes also to this type of thing.
No vibration.
No vibration and
no fumes.
Much more volume available.
And that's what it does to the bed. Our philosophy is really to design for owners. and not for a charter company. Charter company is always one more toilets, more bathrooms everywhere because they, families might share. In this case, we feel it's an owner sailing and then the family comes by, the children come by or close friends come by. Adding more space for them to live and to sleep and then sharing a bathroom, I think is a good way to do it. In this guest hole, in this case, in the forward cabin, we have a bunk bed. But really, in that forward cabin, it is your space. So if we've had requests for a gym there, we've had requests for another office there, a tool shop. It's all good. We can do that very easily. In this case, so it's a bunk bed for kids, and in the aft is basically a copy of the owner's bedroom. And I think this bathroom also demonstrates the size. I mean, you can tell I'm 182 from Holland, so there are taller people than me. This is almost 210 in ceiling height. And if you look at the shower, again, if I go in here, that I have a lot of room to, well, not wash my hair, but it's all laid out to be a true live aboard. You can live on this for a very long time.
So, stepping on deck.
Yeah, explaining the sail plan a little bit.
Yeah.
Travelers up here for the main sheet. You can see that the boom is really low to the roof.
It's a proper sail plan.
Right. That means that the performance of the same square meters of sail actually perform a lot better. I think it's nice to notice also that this is a canvas extension with an aluminium frame inside. And the great thing about it is that we put all the antennas in here. So just below this, there's a Starlink antenna, there's GPS, AIS. No
Protected,
lines get tangled. Exactly, but no lines get tangled, no UV radiation on them, and it's perfect reception on the Starlink. You can work anywhere. Here's the handrail. A lot of people ask us, no handrail. Yes, it's right there. You can feel it. It's a true grab.
Solid.
And installed on this boat as an option is the furling boom.
In boom.
Yeah, and all I can say about it is that it's fantastic.
It's super convenient.
And sometimes you hear people wonder, is it very sensitive to the angle when you roll it in and out? It is not. It just works like a charm. And it also allows, we can now put square top mainsails in a furling boom because of that hook. It falls into the boom. And then you close the cover, you're done. It's also good for the maintenance of your sail. The best way to keep your sails is not to fold them, but to roll them on a big tube, which is what this does.
Not to mention the rolling inside the mast, right?
Well, that's no option. We don't sell that.
So keep talking about this beautiful Cork deck.
Yeah, I love the Cork. We're both here barefoot. It can be very, very sunny around the equator, and Cork never ever gets hot.
And it keeps a grip.
And it keeps a very good grip, whether it's wet or not. Again, forget everything about sustainability. Just look at the properties of Cork, and it's the best deck you can get. Here's what we call the cocktail cockpit. So when the sun sets and you're at anchor, this is a fantastic place. Fold up the table and have a nice drink together. I think this open deck space covers also 4 really massive lockers, 2 in front in the bow. Great for your fenders. You don't want any weight in the front, but these are very, very deep lockers. So they're perfect to put your fenders in there. They're away. They take up a lot of volume, but are low weight. And underneath there, you have 2 big sail lockers for your Gennaker, your Code Zero, whatever, right where you need them.
Perfect, very convenient. Fantastic, everything looks great, very well organized, minimalistic yet functionally, nothing's missing.
Yeah,
also,
we get this a lot, by the way, that people say, is this form over function? And it is absolutely not. We're all sailors, but there's no law that says you cannot have function and also make it look good.
Well, my personal opinion, bare and naked functionality always ends up being beautiful in a way.
Yeah.
You see that on working vessels, you see that on minimalistic designs that have a rich concept behind. And this is absolutely one of those cases, in my opinion, where extreme functionality meets beauty.
I think clarity, minimalism leads to clarity, and clarity is really good to have on anything that you use because it is self-explanatory, and therefore there's no confusion. Which line should I get, or where does that go?
Yeah.
When it's clear, it is also minimalistic, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no room for misunderstanding. Fantastic. I love the 3 steps to go up on the coach roof. That's a little That's a little jewel right there. That meets concept we just discussed right now.
Right.
One thing Igor told us we cannot show is the motor itself. The pods on this R5 are experimental. They're under an agreement with the supplier, so the cameras stay out. What we can show is the space the architecture freed up. Because the motor is under the bed, you get full headroom in the owner's suite, a real walk-in closet, and most importantly, no fumes, no vibration, almost no sound. The boat you're standing in already proves the point.
What is the key of the idea behind this boat?
I think the most essential difference is that it's made out of aluminium. And from that come a lot of benefits. I think the most important one is that the hull is so rigid. It's all aluminium. Also the white parts that you see, the coach roof, they're all solid aluminium. And that means that the boat is very stiff and strong. So the two hulls don't twist.
It's no elastic deformation whatsoever.
And therefore it's super silent. Obviously aluminium is very, very safe, right? You hit anything, you get a dent instead of a hole. That's a big difference when you're out on the sea. But the stiffness creates true luxury because it is so silent.
Also, that this is the reason why you can allow to install such big side windows, right?
Yeah, if you look inside, maybe we can have a look inside. These windows, that is true glass. In fact, this is double glazing with insulation space in between. So this is true insulation glass, and it's over 3 meters long. And the only reason we can do that, why the windows don't crack, is because of that strong aluminium hull. So again, that is, I think the aluminium translates into luxury and safety.
Absolutely. Also, I noticed there's an attention to the sound of the interior, even being docked, meaning that there are some sound absorption elements inside. I guess it sounds very quiet. I don't feel like there's any reverb, anything. Also in the sound of my voice.
No,
it sounds very quiet, very controlled.
I think that's also the work of my partner, interior designer, is working with all kinds of materials that create dynamics in that materials. So some surfaces are hard and smooth, and others, like the ceiling, this is recycled PET felt.
Yeah.
So it looks like felt, it absorbs sound, it's super lightweight, and at the same time they're recycled PET bottles. I think that marriage between luxury experience and sustainability without sacrificing anything, you know, I think that is very nice. There's no cracking of the interior because of that. There's no torsion, there's no cracking. And I think that all translates into being able to be on board for a long time.
Without any type of stress.
Yes, because, I mean, cracking of interior, for some people it's normal, but for others it's actually...
Well, actually it is a big stress factor in long
It is
passages.
a stress, it feels unsafe in a sense,
It feels
right?
unsafe, and especially if you're, maybe you've done your shift, and
Yeah.
you go down to your berth, and you just want to rest,
Yeah.
and feeling the cracking and the structure.
With every crack you
suffering.
wonder, is that a different one from the other crack, right?
Let me add my personal take here. I've seen many attempts on the market to build aluminium yachts. The challenge is always the same. If you don't paint and fair the hull, the boat looks ugly, the weld seams show, and over time you get stains. If you do paint and fair it, it's no longer as eco-friendly as raw aluminium, and it's a lot harder to maintain. You need to repaint every 3 to 5 years. The fairing itself can crack and fall off, especially on smaller boats where the hull flexes on the waves. Plus, all that fairing adds weight. And weight is the one thing you don't want on a sailing yacht. What Vaan pulled off is rare. Raw aluminium, genuinely beautiful, clean, harmonious, no compromise on the look. Combine that with Dutch build quality, a real eco approach, and serious sailing performance. Igor comes from competitive sailing, and you get a boat that's actually unique in this market.
All right, Rocco, what's your impression?
Well, my impression, I couldn't be happier, honestly. I'm enthusiastic about this boat. It's not only part of the top segment in cruising catamarans, but really, I cannot find a single compromise. The sustainability factor doesn't create any conflict with the luxury standards, comfort, guests and sailors' ability to enjoy the spaces and operate the boat. It really is fantastic. I couldn't be happier.
What's your favorite area on the boat?
Well, my favorite area on this boat is very hard to tell. I really love it all, but probably the helm station, because the helm station is connected with the rest of the boat all the time.
It never cuts you out of the social interaction with your guests or your friends, your family, whoever you may be enjoying time aboard with. And in the meantime, it grants 360 degrees visibility. It is not complicated by any hardware. It is very clean, it's very sharp. The buttons for the electric winch setting are, of course, a big plus because you're not forced to go anywhere else. You just control the whole boat from there, and it's just perfect. I mean, this is an actual sailing catamaran for long distance sailing without any compromise.
Any latitude?
Any latitude, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, they're built in Holland, so that when they come out of the shed, they already get a nice freezing cold moment. And what's the technical factor that most fascinates you about the R5?
The technical factor, I would say, as you mentioned, there are many small details. A lot of thought came to that boat, but obviously the engine room and the electric engine setup, which is also like very, very optimal, minimal maintenance, and yeah. Well, then that will conclude our Vibe review. Thank you, and stay with us.
Thank you.
That was the Vaan R5, one boat from Cannes 2025, and we have more coming. Maori, Silent 62, AB, plus boat show drone footage, all of it heading to this channel over the next 2 weeks. If you want to walk yachts with us like this, subscribe and tell us in the comments, aluminium and electric, is this the future or just a beautiful experiment?